Hello everyone, it's time for another ProGuides video. My name is Nathan Ng and I'd like to welcome you guys back to our channel. In today's video we're going to be giving you guys a rundown of all the pistols in CSGO, when to buy them, and how to use them. With a lot of different pistols available in the game at several different price points, it might be a little bit overwhelming at first. But don't worry, by the end of this video you'll know everything that you need to and then start dominating your competitive matches with ease. Before we get started, it's time for our question of the day, and today's question is, who do you think is the best pistol player in CSGO? Although he doesn't really play actively at the top level anymore, I'm gonna have to say Dennis. In today's scene, I think it might be Rain. But what do you guys think? Leave a comment with your answer, and without further ado, let's go ahead and go through all the pistols in CSGO so you can figure out which one you can dominate with. And if you don't know any pro players, my question for you is, what is your favorite pistol? Alright, the first one up is the P2000/USPS. Each team is given one starting pistol at the beginning of every round, so players don't really run out of the spawn empty-handed. Each team's starting pistol is unique to their side, meaning that you can't really get them when playing on the opposite team. Let's start by talking about the CT starting pistols, the USPS and the P2000. As a player, you get to choose between these two as your starting pistol. The USP has a silencer with 3 magazines of 12 bullets each. The silencer can be really useful if you manage to get behind your enemy, as you can catch them off guard and they won't be able to tell where they're being shot from. The recoil is slightly more forgiving and is more accurate than a P2000 while moving and shooting. P2000 may not have a silencer, but it makes up for it with a significant larger ammo count. It has 5 magazines with 13 bullets each, which means that you are far less likely to run out of ammo during the late round of the gunfight. P2000 is way more accurate than the USP while standing still, and is still a solid choice. We've already done more in-depth comparison here, so if you can't make up your mind, then you can go ahead and check that out and give yourself some more information to consider. They don't really do a lot of damage outside of pistol rounds, so consider upgrading if you're not strapped for cash. At the end of the day though, it's mostly personal preference and it will not affect your overall improvement. Just pick one and start practicing, and you can always switch back if you're not feeling it. Sometimes I'll be playing really well with the USP for a few weeks and then I'll switch back to the P2000 when I'm not feeling it anymore. It's not as big of a deal as people make it out to be. Now let's go ahead and talk about the T-side starting pistol, the Glock. The Glock is a very powerful weapon in the pistol round, but not so much on every other round. It is very strong against unarmored opponents and can be a one-hit headshot at close range, but has extremely low damage and armor penetration. The Glock also has a burst fire mode, which fires 3 bullets at once in rapid succession. However, this spread is not very accurate, so I don't really recommend that you use it. Ideally, when using a Glock, you should try to take those close range engagements and then go for mostly headshots. Although, if you're against an unarmored opponent, spamming for body shots can actually get the job done as well. The only time that you should be using the Glock in a competitive setting is either on the pistol round or a save round, where you are so broke that you need a full save in order to buy everything that you need for the next round. To put things into perspective, the Glock's damage output against armored opponents is similar to that of the PP Bison, which is fully automatic and has way more ammunition. Hold on to it for the pistol round, but beyond that, you should at least try upgrading to the next pistol. The P250 is the cheapest pistol that you can upgrade to. At an extremely affordable price of $300, the P250 is a really powerful pistol that can do a lot of damage if used correctly. Although it lacks the precision of the starting pistol rounds, it does far more damage. At close range, the P250 can kill an unarmored opponent in 3 shots, which makes it a considerable pistol round weapon. It also has much better armor penetration, allowing you to kill armored opponents in 4 shots to 5 depending on the distance. A headshot against an opponent with a helmet will usually do above 90 damage, so a headshot following a body shot should probably get you a kill. Similarly to the USP though, the P250 only has 3 magazines, and it's likely that you'll run out of ammo if you don't pick up any other weapons. I recommend that you try to fight with it in close range so you can pick up the enemy's primary and not have to worry about running out of ammo. At $300, the P250 is a great eco weapon for when you don't really have much money in the bank, but it's not the most powerful option available to you. I personally love buying the P250 because if you get a kill with it, it always pays for itself and it doesn't really affect the buy in the next round. However, it's not the most powerful gun. We're going to be talking about a more situational weapon, the dual Berettas. At $400, this is a very odd weapon choice that shouldn't really be given too much thought outside of certain situations. While it has a high rate of fire, its armor penetration is nothing to brag about. Its damage output is just inferior to the other pistols, and on most rounds you should probably consider buying something else. That being said, there are some professional players who still use dualies on pistol rounds in positions where they can force close range engagements like the Banana of Inferno. You can make it work if you use it in the right scenario and you can hit a lot of headshots, but training with the dualies is honestly more effort than it's worth. If you're going to be going out of your way to spend extra money on a pistol, probably consider these next few options. The next 3 pistols that we're going to be talking about are all going to occupy the same inventory slot, but 2 of them are exclusive to only one side. We're going to be talking about the one that is accessible to both sides first, which is the CZ75. At $500, the CZ is the only automatic pistol in the game and features 2 magazines of 12 bullets. It is not recommended to long-range use because the recoil is somewhat random and extremely difficult to control, not even mentioning that its accuracy when tapping is not the greatest either. While it lacks the damage output for other pistol rounds at medium to long range, it compensates with a high rate of fire. If you can get up close and personal, you'll probably pump 12 bullets into your enemy just by holding down mouse 1. Another unique feature of the CZ is that its kill reward is $100, meaning that you need to get an ace in order for it to pay for itself. The CZ is infamous for being extremely overpowered in the early days of CSGO, and while it's not as broken as it used to be, it's still a solid choice. The low ammo count is definitely something to be concerned about, so it's recommended that you try to put yourself in position to take those close range fights and then grab your opponent's weapon. Because it's mostly powerful when taking close range engagements and that's something that you can't really control that much on the T side, I recommend that you mostly use the CC on the CT side unless you're playing a map like Inferno where there's a lot of close range engagements. The 5.7 is a CT side alternative to the CZ75, and it's like a jack of all trades in terms of pistols because you can actually have the most success with it in most situations. Its price point is the same as the CZ and an affordable price of $500. The 5.7 has great armor penetration, good damage, and a lot more ammunition. It more or less makes up for all its weaknesses of the CZ, including the kill reward. At close range, the 5.7 has the ability to kill an enemy with a single headshot, which makes it a formidable opponent to the CZ and its high rate of fire. The recoil is a lot easier to manage, and you can spam body shots on multiple opponents due to its large magazine size. While the CZ benefits from very niche scenarios, you can find yourself some more success with the 5.7 in most rounds as long as your aiming is feeling good. I think that you can switch between the CZ and 5.7 depending on which positions that you play, as the 5.7 is a lot better on maps like Dust 2 where you have to take a lot of long range fights, while the CZ might benefit from maps like Nuke where there's a lot of close range engagements on that upper bomb site. The T-side alternative to the CZ is also $500, which is the Tech 9. Tech 9 is another formerly overpowered pistol. While you used to be able to spam this thing while running around like a maniac and getting headshots, the weapon doesn't really work like that anymore, and you might have to be more precise with it. One area where the Tech 9 shines is its damage output, being able to do more damage to armored opponents than any other pistols of its caliber. It has solid accuracy and a high rate of fire, but the recoil is a lot less consistent, which means that you have to tap with it in order to get headshots consistently. Although not as accurate as the 5.7, the Tech 9 is still a more favorable pistol in longer range fights, and is actually a better choice than the CZ in most situations. Similarly to the Glock, this is best used when you rush in with your teammates and try to take those close range engagements on the bomb site. This should be your go-to weapon if you have enough money to buy up some armor on your eco rounds and you just want to go for a fast play. Very similar to the 5.7 versus the CZ, I think that you should pick between these 2 pistols depending on what spots that you're usually playing on the T side. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about the Desert Eagle. The Desert Eagle is the most expensive pistol in the game, coming in at $700. Commonly referred to as the Deagle, it's the most powerful pistol in the game and can do some serious damage when used correctly. The damage output on this thing is insanely strong, being able to kill opponents in 2 shots at close range, but with that being said though, the weapon actually is kind of inaccurate and you should only try spamming it at very close range. The Deagle is the most effective in mid to long range engagements where you're able to go for those headshots. This weapon is very accurate and can kill players with one hit with a headshot, which is known as a 1-Deag. Like I mentioned before, it's a very powerful weapon, but only if used properly. With such a huge price tag, it's not something that you can really buy every single round. I recommend that you buy this on rounds where you have a big loss bonus, otherwise you won't be able to afford many grenades on your buy rounds. This is a very common pitfall that I see players fall into. Professional players make using the Deagle look really easy, getting headshots left and right, and constantly shutting the enemy down. However, lower level players do not have the patience or the aim to use the Deagle as effectively. The Deagle has the highest skill ceiling out of any weapon in the game, and you should worry about nailing down your basic mechanics like aim, movements, and crosshair placement before you start buying this every single round. The R8 Revolver is a gimmick at best, coming in at $600. It's an alternative to the Deagle, but that doesn't really exactly make it a better pistol. Upon its release, it was the most broken weapon in the game, being able to one-shot enemies in the chest. However, since it was nerfed, it has been slowly drifting away from the competitive irrelevancy. It has 2 modes, a delayed fire and an immediate fire. The delayed fire is when you have to charge up your shot before you actually shoot it, meaning that if your enemy is moving, you have to quickly adjust your aim before the shot goes off. This shot is extremely accurate, but you have to hope that your target doesn't move out of your crosshair before you can actually shoot. The immediate fire makes the R8 a shotgun, where it fires immediately, but the shots are random and extremely inaccurate. In extremely close range, the R8 is a death sentence for your opponent, but in that situation you could have saved $100 and just bought a CZ to do the same thing. The R8 is powerful and fun to play around with, but not consistent enough to use it in competitive play, especially when you're forced to equip it over the deagle. With that all being said, that's going to be the end of this video. Hopefully this video gave you some insight on how and when you should be using the various pistols in CSGO. If this advice helped you get more kills with pistols, go ahead and leave a comment below, or if you guys have any other advice regarding the same topic, also leave that in the comments below. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos such as this. We want to say here at ProGuides, we really appreciate you guys watching these videos and giving us a lot of support, especially in the CSGO channel, as it's a very tight-knit community, and I've been seeing some of the same people comment, so it's good seeing you guys again. If you want to take your game to the next level, then feel free to head over to ProGuides.com. You'll have the ability to work with our expert coaches to get personalized experiences for helping improving your game. If you want to brush up on the basics, we also have a handful of courses available for you to study up. Best of luck in your competitive matches, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. Peace.